What is belief? Well, we know that, but the majority of people say one thing and do another. Well, why is that? Like that's it's hypocritical. If you say you're going to do something, then do it, but we don't. Well, we know that what you believe is what you act. Now, you can lie to yourself, and that's the first person we lie to is ourselves.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the I Didn't Read Your Book podcast. I am your host, Lutch, and today we are going to be talking with Roger Pollard about his book, The Book Everyone Should Read.
My concept was I want to build people because on average, only 10% of high school players go to college. So if I'm going to base my program on 10%, then I'm losing. Right? Like I'm in the education system. If you get 10% on a test, you failed. Not only did you fail it, you failed it miserably. So I based it to the 90%. The initial concept was it's not what you're doing, it's with what. It's the energy that you bring forward with whatever thought that you have, right? You have a marriage, right? And the love in that marriage is at a 9 out of 10, but the energy is at a 0. That relationship sucks. If the love at that relationship was a 1, but the energy in that relationship was a 9, you'd rather be in that 9. It's the energy that you bring forward with it. So what constitutes energy? It's your mindset. My thing was I was always listening to, especially for my first 2 or 3 years, consistently listening to motivational videos. Whether it was Eric Thomas, whether it was Jim Rohn, whether it was Inky Johnson, whether it was Les Brown, whether it was Zig Ziglar, whether it was Tony Robbins, just listening to those things. And then I got kind of tired. I got really tired of the raw behind motivation. I went into a deep dive on psychology and really how we act, like the reality, the truth behind how we are. Like you're looking at me, and at the same point, you're also looking at everything behind me. So you see what you focus on, right? But you also see everything. So I'm like, we're aiming creatures from the physiological level. That's just how we work. That is our reality. If you have no focus, you can't see. I was just like, well, hey, let me start really basing what I'm saying and what I'm doing on the physiological stance of the human being. And I just think we focus a little bit too much on the end goal and not the core fundamentals. And that brought me to where I am today. What we know about us, what do we know? Like, how do we work? And then relating it to that outward movement in what we do on a daily basis. So
that's what really matters, right? That however you get there is that movement, is turning it into that motion.
I'm giving you this information. It's up to you now to say, to go walk into the mirror and say, how does this look? You have to name it, because if you don't name it, right? Like I'll put it like this, my little clothing line that I'm starting. We talk about belief. Well, what is belief? Well, we know that the majority of people say one thing and do another. Well, why is that? Like it's hypocritical. If you say you're going to do something, then do it, but we don't. Well, we know that the memory that has to do with how you speak and how you act, they're from 2 different places in your brain. So it's your job to analyze that contradiction. So in belief, if you change the letters around, it's be life. What you believe is what you act. Now you can lie to yourself, and that's the first person we lie to is ourselves. But
sure,
I think the goal is to be fully integrated with what you say and what you do. And
So sorry to interrupt your podcast experience. I just want to remind you, if you're enjoying what you're watching, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And if you really love it, there's some support links in the description. I would love if you could help out the channel. And back to the show.
That's kind of
So how do you help people find that path to be able to acknowledge that they're not self-actualized, they're lying to themselves? How do they change that?
it sucks, but I can't. Right? I can talk to you. The only thing that we are in control in this life of is our thoughts and our actions. So I can label it as the book that everybody wants to read. You can sit here and you can watch me and you can be interested in what I say, but you've got to take on a personal responsibility to be you, right? Like I tell my students all the time, it's essentially your personal responsibility, right? Like if you are satisfied with what you're doing and how everything is going, then that's fine. But nobody is perfect. Like we are all different. Every single iteration of every single human being, like we're sitting in here in the same podcast. We're sitting here, but both of us are going to be getting something different because the information and our perceptions are going to be based off of the infinite amount of experiences that we have had in our lifetime. You hear potato, I hear potato, and someone else might hear refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is different, and I can't force people, because if we could force people, we wouldn't like everything would be great. There would be no education system, right? There would be no chance. There would be no differences in what we do. So
right.
All I can do is speak, which is, kind of what I'm doing and what I'm starting. One person picks it up and they read through it and they like it, and the next person picks it up and they like it, and we imitate what we emulate. So if people like it, if it is true, it should resonate with people. All I could do was put my thoughts, my feelings, my sentiments on paper, and it's honestly not to sell, but the book is $12, right? And if it captivates you, if you like it, then there it is. And if not, we're in a marketing age where anybody will tell you anything to sell something. I wrote this for my kids. The truest thing about us from a physiological level is you can go through the same experience, but if you go through that experience and you go from a stance that you are taking a voluntary action, then your reward system and challenge system is activated. If you go through an experience, the same exact experience, but you feel like that experience is being put onto you, your fight or flight system takes place. So it's within that same concept. I can't make people do it. All I can do is put my representation of what I see out of reality in teaching over, I don't know, in 15 years, how many students and kids, and this is just my individual take of what I see and I believe to be important. And then my concept of belief is be life. So if I believe it, put it down on paper. And that's essentially what I did.